Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Power Man Podcast. My name is Rory Paquette. I know you know that, but I just like to remind myself of how grateful I am to be sitting here in this chair. Folks, when we went to 7 days a week, a lot of people told me I was nuts. I told me I was nuts, but you folks responded. And the way that you have subscribed and shared and sent DMs and everything else has been just absolutely overwhelming. And we are killing it at 7 days a week because of you. If you're not out there doing what you're doing, I don't get to sit here and do what I'm doing. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, all the mushy stuff is gone. Let's move on. You guys all know what's coming next. That's right. We got to take a sip of our preferred beverage. Man, that is good stuff. Just made that hot just now. If you're a friend of the program, you know what we're drinking. That's right. It's Freedom Hill Coffee at Freedom Hill Coffee on Instagram. Look them up and check them out. Deep, dark, rich, bold, and beautiful. Just like my wife. They brew an absolutely mean cup of joe, and they do all the right things for all the right reasons. They support veterans, which you all know is huge to us here at Power Man. If you're a veteran, if you're out there, folks, I want to thank you and your family for your sacrifice, for everything you've done. If you're not out there doing what you're doing, I don't get to sit here and have an opinion at all. So we love you, and we're glad that you found a home with us here at the Power Man Podcast. And so is Freedom Hill Coffee. So go check them out online, on Instagram, at Freedom Hill Coffee, and tell them Power Man sent you. All right, now let's get to business here. Let me get one more sip of this fine beverage before I talk to this young buck who's sitting across the table from me. He's already laughing at the old man. Here we go. All right. Folks, please welcome to the show. He's a men's health coach, and he's the founder of Valiant Wellness, which we're going to hear all about here. And he's got a little something for you at the end, too, a little free offer. So,
Absolutely.
folks, please welcome Luka Petkovic to the show. Did I get the last name right, brother?
You got it right. Thank you so much.
I love it. Luka, thanks, and welcome to the show, man. Tell
Absolutely.
everybody a little bit who is Luka? Just get us started with kind of like who are you and what do you do?
Absolutely. I'm a men's health coach. Simply put, like most men out there, we go to college or we go to trade school. Hey, let's get a degree or, whatever. Let's start working in the corporate world. And I think our health, especially our mental and our physical health, really they're not a top priority anymore, right? Like, hey, let's work money, let's pay for the mortgage, let's support the kids, let's support the wife. And I feel like men's overall health is kind of pushed to the side. And that's something I went through myself. When you go into quote unquote the working world or the real world, whatever frame you want to, phrase you want to use. And I think the biggest problem with that is that me personally in my journey, it's like you become a worse version of yourself. So whatever your job is, whether you're a barber or you're an investment banker or you're a freaking chef, whatever you do in this world, you're going to do your job better if you have more energy. You're coming at and attacking that job from a better mindset, you'll be better at it. So I think health is wealth is a term that everyone, probably your listeners, understand. But I think sometimes people, they think, okay, if I'm not healthy, it doesn't matter if I'm wealthy. But I actually look at it, the more energy I have, the more healthy I am, the more wealthy I'll be. So
Got it. Got it. I mean, I love the attitude.
yeah,
And you're not wrong. We have a lot of guys right now that are listening to this. Between that 30 to 50 year age group, man,
yeah,
and we're hearing that loud and clear. You hit the working world, and the first thing to go is you going to the gym. Just
correct.
absolutely, it's the first thing to go, and we make excuses about it too. Like, well, I got to work, I got to do this.
I'm
You know,
tired.
you
Yeah,
run
I
into
have a
that.
physical job. Oh, of course, that's every time. I mean, we all have excuses. I think you hit the nail right on the head. But also another thing that goes is not just like us going to the gym, our routine, our scheduling. We're eating fast food. We don't have time to cook a good meal. Our nutrition's off. Our sleep's in the gutter. People are drinking, 7 to 8 cups of coffee just to function, let alone to perform at a high level. So it's like yes, we don't start going to the gym, but everything else deteriorates. And that's super important because sometimes when people talk about health or wellness or fitness, and your listeners probably know they're thinking of a guy, chicken, broccoli, bicep curls in a tank top. Let's go, baby. But they forget that what about your sleep? That's where all your testosterone's built. What about your mindset? What about the decisions you're making nutritionally? How are you hydrating every single day? So those things matter just as much, or if not more, than how many sets of curls you're doing in the gym.
Nice, great point to point out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really realize that part of it that you just sort of threw out there casually. I'm not sure everybody knows that little thing you just threw out, that it's when you're sleeping that your testosterone gets
Oh,
produced.
absolutely. So your testosterone basically we want to get into REMs, not to get so technical for everybody, because I like to keep things kind of very simple so they can implement it. But simply put, for everyone on listening to this, sleep is the best performance enhancing drug in the entire world. And one of the things I do with my clients, I say to them, hey, have you ever watched the movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper? And they say, oh, yeah, you
Mhm.
take a pill, you got, super brain power, all this great stuff. And I say, listen, if I were to Google to you benefits of great sleep, the list is freaking an essay long. It's better muscle density, a better bone density, better cognitive abilities, lowers your chance of heart attack, stroke, cancer, just lowers the chance of basically getting any mortality thing in the world. But people really do not prioritize their sleep. And that's where all your muscles built. So when you go to the gym and you do all those curls and you do the bench press and everything, what are we actually doing at the simplest level is we're tearing down our muscles. We're tearing them into little making micro tears in them. And what we feed them in terms of our protein, obviously our nutrition is going to rebuild them. But the actual rebuilding process happens when we sleep, not in the gym, not all that. So if you want to make better gains or you want to lose more fat, the fat burning, also that happens when you sleep as well. That has to be your priority. That has the foundation that your health should be built on.
Wow, I don't think I've ever heard that kind of a endorsement for a sleep. I've heard how it's really
It's
important.
free. It's
Yeah,
free. That's what I tell people. You don't need to take magical supplements. It's free. So, yeah.
right, exactly. The all right now, seriously speaking,
Yeah.
is the amount of sleep that you need? Let's go down that road if you don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
The amount of sleep that you need, is that different for different people, or different folks at different ages, or is it like all actually you need 8 hours of sleep? Because I just can't even imagine trying to find 8 hours to go to sleep, right?
Great question. So, one of the things about sleep is it's not just about the hours of sleep, it's the quality of sleep. So, am I in REM sleep? Am I in deep sleep? Or am I tossing and turning kind of in a light sleep all night? Because those things I talked about, your muscles rebuilding, all that happens in those deeper stages of sleep, testosterone creation, all in the deeper levels of sleep. Now, to answer your question, there's a little bit of nuance there because if I am working out 6 days a week, I have a physical job, I'm getting a lot of steps in, my strain on my body is a lot higher.
Hmm.
So I'm going to need a lot of more sleep. A lot of times people say, I'm going to catch up on sleep on a Sunday, or I'm going to catch up on sleep on Saturday. Yeah, because they've been sleep deprived throughout the whole week, right? So they have this big backlog of sleep that they need. But it really depends on how active and how physical people are, how much sleep they actually need. You want to think about sleep, not so many how many like hours you get in. Is it 8 hours, seven, is it nine? But really how many quality cycles that I get in, right? Did I get, if sleep is kind of broken down into 90-minute cycles, did I get five quality cycles, four quality cycles, six quality cycles tonight? But one of the things that your listeners should really know is that your body is the best barometer of did you get good sleep or not? Like, are you waking up groggy? Are you waking up tired? Are you waking up pissed off, slapping the alarm clock and saying, oh, another hour? Sleep wasn't probably that great. Now you have, wearables like Whoop and your Apple Watch that could track your sleep, which I suggest for my clients, get them if you want to actually have like a visual representation. But I was practicing on getting really good sleep for years prior to buying a Whoop. And when you wake up. Like, do you wake up like an energy, like, woo, like let's go crush the gym? Or you're like, oh God, another day. Oh, the back pain. Right. So again, you feel this. I mean, your listeners know, like when you get a really good sleep on vacation, no one bothers you, you feel amazing, you feel energetic. You almost don't even really need coffee. It's those other nights, right? That you're tired. You feel like you've been drugged basically when you wake up in the morning.
I hear you. I mean, it's not just my listeners that are resonating with this right now. I'm kind of wondering how you're nailing me to the cross right now, because you've described me perfectly for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I drink
guys, I
a
know because I've
boatload of
been through
coffee.
this. Yeah, I've been through this. I know. I'm only speaking from experience. That's why I started my company because I feel like people can relate to like I'm being real. Like for me, the big thing was I wanted to wake up early all the time, and I just never could because my sleep was off because everything I was doing prior to me sleeping was off. So, not to make this all about sleep, but your sleep is really broken down into two really important factors. And this is things that I work with my clients a lot on is sleep preparation and sleep environment. Now, sleep environment is the easiest to change. Sleep environment is there any electronics in your room? Do you have blackout curtains? Is your mattress comfortable? Is the room cold enough? Things that are going to improve your actual quality of sleep. And those are physical changes you can make. Is there little lights from your chargers you can get out of the room, right? Stuff like that. Wearing an eye mask, a nasal strip, mouth tape, all things that help people sleep. Preparation now, that is where all the value is. That's the what am I doing to actually have great sleep? It is 5:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now for me. So a couple things I will do just so your listeners know. I have an alarm on my iPhone that tells me to stop eating at 7 p.m. Why 7 p.m.? Because I want a minimum 2 hours, if not three, of eating before my last meal. So remind myself, when did I have my last coffee? Usually the half-life of coffee is about 8 hours. So if I don't want it in my system, okay, half-life of it, so half of it will be in my system, 8 hours. So if trying to go to bed at 10 p.m., I'll have my last coffee at 2. I try to go by noon though,
Hmm.
afternoon.
Wow.
As soon as the PM is full rule aligned, after PM, I don't have. And a lot of things, when am I exercising glass? Am I getting a lot of blue light exposure? There's a whole sleep. You have poor sleep. It's not because you obviously want poor sleep, but you can't just go into bed and say, oh, I want to have great sleep right now. I'm going to go to sleep, right? It's a process of things you did throughout the entire day, which are going to affect your sleep. And you're not thinking about your sleep at 2 p.m. when you're ordering a coffee, but it could affect your sleep. You're trying to go to bed at 10 p.m. later that night,
Hmm.
or watching something that's overly stimulating, or the music you're listening, or the movies or TVs, or how much blue light exposure you have. All those things play a factor. And, a really good sign of that, Rory, is when you are going to bed, are you falling asleep right away? Are you tossing and turning for an hour?
Hmm.
Those are really good, signs, whether my preparation was great or my preparation was very bad.
Interesting. Okay. I never really even heard of
Yeah.
preparation for sleep before. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's new.
It's a big thing. Oh
All
yeah.
right. Okay. I mean, I'm an old school guy, you know what I mean? So this is kind of new to me right now. All right. I
Oh
love it.
yeah.
I love it. Tell me
Yeah.
about you're the founder of Valiant Wellness. You mentioned your company. Tell us about the company. What's
Yeah.
Valiant Wellness? What's it about? What do you do?
Absolutely. So Valiant Wellness is a men's coaching company. I work directly with mostly guys anywhere from the ages of like 30 to 50. And really what I do is I focus on four barometers of health. And again, it's obviously the exercise, the gym, the nutrition, the mindset, and the sleep are the four things I really focus on. And I really want to take a 360-degree approach and help guys become really the best version of themselves. It's not enough to be in shape where, okay, you got a great body, but like we talked about, you don't have great sleep, or you don't have great energy, or you don't speak well, or you don't have good confidence, or your mindset's not really in the right place. So what I found, what was interesting when I was starting my company, there was a lot of offers for guys that want to get in shape. Chicken and broccoli, caloric deficit, follow this, follow my workout plan. Great. And then there was this other element of life coaching, Tony Robbins, focus on your limiting beliefs. And I never really understood why no one bridged the gap between both, because so much of getting into shape is about your beliefs and your mindset. It's actually extremely simple, as your listeners probably know. Getting into shape is simple, but it's not easy. And for me, I share this story because it's what I struggled with. Was a collegiate athlete. So I had this external force that was making me be in great shape because of practice and games. Then you go into the corporate world. And what happened to me is what probably has happened to your listeners countless times, which is you go into the real world, you sit in an office 8 to 10 hours a day, you eat like crap. Next thing you know, you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, where the hell do these love handles come from? I got man titties. What the hell? I got a freaking kegger on my stomach. What happened to my abs? Well, they didn't magically disappear. You've been eating like shit, Luka, for 12 months. You're eating out all the time. You're barely going to the gym. When you're going to the gym, you don't really have a plan. You're just kind of going through the motions, hoping the fat will just come coming off. And then what ends up happening is in the corporate world, it's okay to be mediocre. Saturday night, brewskis, happy hour, everybody. Oh, this, oh, that. And it's like, whoa, you're following a diet? You're so stringent, dude. You'll have these people giving you their limiting beliefs to, putting it on you. And it was about, I was 28 years old. I've been working in finance for almost 6 or 7 years. And I was kind of so disgusted with myself because it was every year was the same crap. Every year was get a gym membership, get a new workout. I've probably spent thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on workout plans, and nothing seemed to work because the issue was not, I don't know how to do a bicep curl or don't know how to squat or don't know how to deadlift. I've done these things my whole life playing sports. The issue was the mental side of things. Why can't I stick to a diet? Why can't I follow my nutrition plan? Why can't I do this? Why is my sleep off? Speaking about sleep, I wanted to get up early at 6 a.m. and train in the gym. I wanted to be that guy. I would do it for a week. I would fall off. I would do it for a week. I would fall off. And this yo-yoing was really pissing me off. So I just kind of used myself as a guinea pig and I just read a ton of books, attended a ton of seminars about nutrition, about mindset, about sleep. And I say, I want to make a system that actually works for people from A to Z, that's going to get them into fantastic shape, but most importantly, is going to keep them in shape. And, I spent kind of 6 months going to kind of zero dark 30, as I tell my friends. I was very antisocial at that point, but I was really just working on myself. Not like I'm working on myself, like actually working on yourself. And it changed, and people saw me and they said, "Hey, you look great. You have way more energy. You walk into a room, you're talking to everybody. You're not shy." And that's the thing that guys have to understand. It's not just about getting a great body. That's a byproduct. Losing weight, the number on the scale, the muscle on your body, that is all a byproduct of the work that you do mentally, which gives you the things you put in your mouth, how you sleep, how you train, and then the byproduct is you have so much more confidence too.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
Interesting. Okay. The Now I'm always interested where people kind of got into their business from. Now you were
yeah,
a pretty serious collegiate athlete. Did
yeah.
you learn all of this nutrition stuff that you're talking about now, in college in that atmosphere, or did you study this afterwards? How did you get to
Afterwards,
where you are now?
afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, because like I said, you were a pretty serious collegiate athlete at one point.
Yeah, I mean, it was really afterwards because I went to school and studied finance. But what ended up happening was, and this is kind of the thing a lot of people don't teach you. So you're thinking that you're eating healthy. You're thinking, okay, I'm having salads at the restaurant. Okay, I'm trying to watch my figure. And then you go start doing a deep dive and you go on the nutritional fact table of these restaurants, and the salad has 900 calories or 1200 calories or 700 calories. And what you end up knowing is like these companies and these restaurants, and a lot of them make the food taste really good, but it's not good for you. And this happened to me for a year. I was eating salads. I'm not losing any weight. I'm like, what the hell? I'm eating all these salads. I'm sick of salad. I'm not a rabbit. Stop giving me a salad. And you end up finding out it's like, whoa, this nutrition is actually really bad. Let me start taking a deep dive and started reading books on nutrition. And I realized how simple nutrition actually is. Nutrition is very simple. People complicate it with different diets and stuff, but it's actually a very, very simple process.
Okay.
Yeah,
So when it comes to your simple process, and again, I don't want you to give away the secret sauce or anything. I mean, people can contact you to find out, what they need to know. I'm curious if you do have a diet plan that you sort of subscribe to or endorse, or if it's counting macros or are you counting
great
calories. I mean,
question.
can you let us know that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, so the first thing I want to know is like, I don't really believe in diets. I really believe more in of a lifestyle shift and more mindset towards food. And this is why I don't ever tell my clients what to eat. But when I work with them, I just ask them a question. Do you want to feel like shit? Like, do you actually want to feel like shit? And like openly, like you want to feel like shit today. But don't complain to me like, oh, I ate a bag of Doritos. I feel like a bag of shit. Well, you ate a bag of shit. What do you expect?
That's pretty
Right?
simple, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, what are you planning for today? Oh, I got to take my kids to a soccer game. I got a big business meeting. I said, do you feel like eating Doritos is going to put you in your best mental and physical state to do that presentation? No. Okay. Well, first, let's look at food from what it actually is. It's fuel for our bodies, right? It's either going to give you energy or it's going to take away energy from you. That's the first thing we have to understand about food. So we have to say, okay, where do we need energy today? Do we need to perform? Do I have a busy day with my family and my work? If the answer is yes, why would you shoot yourself in the foot? It's like running a race and telling you in mile 5, hey, I want you to break your own ankle. And then mile 10, break your other ankle. It's like, well, I don't think I'm going to finish the race. Well, I don't think you're going to get through this day today.
Yeah.
If you keep eating like that, I think you're going to crash out at 3 p.m. I don't think you're even going to make your 4 o'clock, child soccer game at that point. You might be a couch potato. So that's the first thing I start with. And then the second thing is, yeah, we talk a little bit about counting calories and eating protein. For a lot of people, that's tedious. And I think in the beginning that they don't necessarily need to count calories. They need to really focus on the quality of food that they're eating. And I'll share this to your audience. I'm a religious person. I believe in God. So for me, it's like, well, isn't it crazy how great food, like how God created food? If you look at food, the food that is the most filling, that has the most amount of fiber, that's the most satiating, has the most amounts of fiber and protein, also has the lowest amount of calories. When one challenge I give my clients, and they say, "Oh, I got a huge appetite," I said, "Okay, I'll give you $1,000 if you can eat 3 apples and drink a gallon, or a liter of water, and tell me that you're still full." Because 3 apples is only 300 calories. One cookie could be 400 calories, but you're so much more full. How come? Well, it's all the fiber from the skin of the apple, right? Fruits, vegetables, lean meats, super, super low in calories, super satiating. It's crazy how the stuff that God created is super satiating, the stuff that the man created, the bag of Doritos and all this stuff. You can eat 3 bags of Doritos and you're still hungry.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the process stuff you're talking about. But I mean, and I get that. I never really equated it um, to faith like that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So you is that how you kind of coach? You look at it and say, "Hey, this is the stuff that God provided, so this is the stuff we're going to eat."
Well, it was I was listening to a podcast many years ago from a clinical physician of the Mayo Clinic, and someone asked him, "What's your biggest piece of diet advice?" And that really stuck to me because of my faith. He said, "You just follow the God diet." So someone, what's that? He said, "Well, if God created it, you eat it, and if you don't, you don't." So the God created beef, yes, and pork and chicken and fish and apples and berries and all the yams and all that stuff. Great, but did he create Cheetos? Did he create freaking packaged, super processed hot dogs? No. Right. So that's a really simple way for people to eat foods if they don't want to count calories, they don't want to look at protein,
Hmm.
which I do with my clients when we eventually get to that level. But it's first identifying which are foods that are actually to give me energy and make me feel good. You see, Rory, one of the things I do with my clients, which a lot of people don't do, is I'll give them a worksheet and I'll say, okay, just write down what you eat for the next 3 days: breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I want you to consciously think 2 hours later, how do you actually feel? Like, how do you feel? And a lot of people write down, I feel like crap. I went to this buffet, I ate all this, I ate this pasta, I ate the bread, I ate this, and I feel so bad. I want to lay down. Food
Hmm.
coma, which is a term your audience has probably heard a lot.
Oh, for sure.
And people don't actually sit down and consciously think, wow, like eating that made me really feel poorly. And I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I'm here in Toronto visiting my girlfriend. There's a cookie spot, and they have these cookies, and they're delicious. But every time I eat them, I feel horrible. So before I go, oh, I want a cookie, I just want a cookie, I go, I just stop for 5 seconds and say, oh, last time I ate that, it upset my stomach. I felt terrible. It's not worth it. I'm going to pass on the cookies because the way I feel right now is a lot more valuable than the taste buds I'm going to get. And a lot of people don't ever think about that trade-off. I'll give you an example with a client I
Hmm.
work with. He went to a buffet and he ate like a pig and he felt ill for like 8 to 10 hours, like just food coma, lethargic, bloated. Everyone's probably felt like he had a food baby, all these things. And I asked him, I said, hey, you, how long did you actually eat for? Like the taste buds, everything's about 20, 30 minutes. How long do you feel bad for? About 10 hours. Is that trade-off worth it? 30 minutes for 10 hours? He's like, absolutely not. I said, he's like, I never thought about it that way. I said, next time you eat something that makes you feel like a bag of crap, how bad do you feel? Does it last 4, 5, 6, 7 hours? Does it last all day? How long does it take you to eat that thing? Oh, 5 minutes. Is 5 minutes worth 5 hours?
That's so crazy. Afterwards, it's never worth it. But beforehand, I mean, I've actually heard, especially guys my age,
Yeah.
have those exact same conversations. I think they're acting like it's kind of a joke, but they've actually said those exact words. Oh, this
Yeah.
doesn't agree with me. It's going to hurt me later, but you know what? I love this. I'm going to have it right now. And yeah, maybe if afterwards somebody said, so you really enjoyed it for about 5 minutes and it just killed you for
Yeah.
the next 48 hours.
Exactly. Exactly. And then it's like, okay, what do you have planned in that 48 hours? Oh, I had a meeting, I had to go to work, I had to help my children out, I had to see my wife, I had a presentation. And it's like, okay, well, you're not just now causing, that's where we're going back to health as well. You're not now just, hey, I had that and I feel bad. Now, oh, I didn't do as good as a job, at
Hmm.
work. I didn't work as hard as I could because how could I? I was in a food coma. I felt terrible. I had no energy. I was lethargic. I just wanted to lay down and go to bed. I said, well, okay. So that didn't just affect your gut, that also affected the way that you work.
Nice. Nice. You mentioned sort of the Tony Robbins aspect, right?
Yeah.
Of this also. There is, I mean, I know that, for me, I experience it. There's a whole bunch of guys I talk to that deal with this sort of thing. There's this emotional, I don't want to say attachment to food because that just seems like it's too benign, but there is an emotional impact for a lot of guys that is connected to the food that they eat. Is
Yes.
that stuff that you end up dealing with and like digging down to, or is this like, hey, you have some kind of problem, you're addicted to eating this food, go see a therapist?
Well, there's an emotional attachment to the food, right? You said it. And you got to ask yourself, how did that attachment come from? Going back to Tony Robbins, we basically only make decisions based on either extreme pleasure or avoiding extreme pain.
Hmm.
So for people, the belief that they have around that food is really important too. It's like, hey, I'm sad. I'm gonna have a tub of ice cream. Okay, well, when you're sad, why don't you have chicken breast?
Hmm.
Because I've equated sadness to ice cream or comfort to ice cream. It's a comfort food, right? There's a lot of these things in our brain, these motor patterns where you think about like football, because I see you got like a Penn State thing on. So like football, why don't we equate football with salmon? No one's like, hey, let me grill some, wild caught salmon while I watch the football game.
No.
It's beer, it's nachos, it's chips, it's pizza, it's wings, because those things are marketed to us.
Right.
Those are the things we're doing. So, all those motor patterns, they don't have to be the standard. When someone's like, hey, let's watch a football game, and I said, okay, well, I'll grill some salmon and I'll chop up some fruit and I'll have some berries and Greek yogurt. I'm like, what the hell has gotten into you? Like, why is the standard you have to have buffalo wings? I don't know. Why is that the standard? So there's a lot of things in our mind where those motor patterns and those relationships with food have already been created. Your viewers, because we've been marketed popcorn in movies, every time you watch a movie, you think you're supposed to have popcorn. Well, then it didn't
Sure.
magically happen. That's something that's happened throughout the years. Why didn't they serve us, I don't know, berries? Why can't I have a cup of blueberries while I'm watching a movie?
Right.
Because that
Well, the
wasn't
markup's not as
marketed.
high.
The market's not as high, but that was also marketed to us,
Yeah, you're right.
right?
100%.
So that's another thing where people don't really understand that these are natural things that you've already associated that food with a certain activity, right?
Interesting.
And it's you got to basically deprogram your mind first and foremost and think about it consciously. Well, yeah, why am I eating popcorn with this movie? Like for me, example again, popcorn upsets my stomach. Every time I have popcorn, no matter if I've organic, grass-fed, ghee popcorn, I've tried it all, upsets my stomach every time. So for me now, it's like have grapes. I'm gonna have grapes when I have a watch a movie.
Nice. Is there, I mean, do you practice that sort of thing almost like a substitution, where it's something bad, but you substitute something good? Or is that just an example that you're given?
Yeah, I usually want to substitute. I mean, just because usually, like, first, it's easier to substitute than to completely eliminate. Meaning, like, if someone watches snacks when they watch Netflix, it's going to be hard for them to just say, oh, I can't snack at all. So it's
Hmm.
easier to substitute. Yeah, you can get them to the point where they don't watch anything, especially how disciplined you get if you say, hey, at 7 p.m., I'm going to stop eating, and you're watching Netflix at 8 p.m. or 8:30, then you're drinking water, watching Netflix, right? You can't deviate from that. But if
Sure.
it's within those parameters, it's easier to substitute for sure.
That's interesting. Okay. Because you're not really
Yeah.
trying to to change the entire behavior. You're just changing, they're still eating when they're watching the movie and
Yeah,
snacking and so on. You're just changing what they're snacking on. So that makes a
exactly.
little sense. Like a baby.
That's easier to change than the behavior. The behavior might take a little bit more time to change in
Gotcha.
general. Yeah. Because again, though, people equate to snacking to watching a movie, but they don't equate to snacking to, working out their job half the time. People, I'm like, hey, why don't you have a bag of popcorn when you're, working at in your office? Oh, that's weird. Oh, why is
Yeah.
that weird? Oh, because I'm working, but while you're watching. Oh, okay. See, again, it's the association that we have in our brain with those activities and the foods that go correlate with them.
So this is some deep rooted stuff that you're taking on when with your
Yeah.
coaching clients. I mean, this isn't just here's your macros or something, follow it, good luck. Here's your list of food. I mean, it's
No.
you're really getting into this with people. Um, let's do this. If I was
Yeah.
to say, or someone else, from
Mm,
the audience,
mm.
but if I was
Yeah.
going to like say, hey, Luca, I want
Yeah.
to coach with you, right? I want you to be my coach.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
what does that start to look like in terms of, and don't give away again, like all your
Yeah.
techniques, but
Yeah.
just give me an
Yeah.
idea of what am I going through? What places are we starting? What are we dealing with?
Perfect. Perfect. So once a week we'd have like a 1 hour coaching call, but within from each week, I'm some of my clients call me crazy because I just have like such a high level of accountability. I check on my clients like 5 times a day. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Like this guy just doesn't stop. I'm like, you're right. Don't stop. You pay me not to stop. And even if you didn't pay me, I wouldn't stop just because I really want to help someone reach their goals. And so a lot of accountability, but a lot of action steps. Now, one of the things that people you can't say to somebody, hey, you've been eating Cheetos, so now you're eating salmon, and that's all you're eating this week. They'll be like, what the hell?
Hmm.
First, we have to even start why someone wants to get in shape and really go to that deeper level. Not like why I want to look good, why I want to attract women, why I want to have biceps. Okay, get in line. That's like surface level. Really getting to their powerful reason why they want to do something when they are tempted by food or they're tempted by external factors, because that's something we haven't talked about. But that is a lot of the problem, especially for guys, is I'm locked in, I'm eating right, I'm training right, I'm sleeping right, and boom, external factor. Friday, Saturday night. It's John's birthday. Hey, the Niners are playing, bud. You want to go to the bar, watch the night? It's always something external.
Hmm.
And that's another question that your audience has to ask. Well, if I'm on this grind and on this journey, if my friends are not adding or helping me, I will be the product of my environment.
Right.
Do I have to cut them off? Not forever, but maybe 90 days. Like I mentioned, my journey, I went really dark for 3, 4 months.
Hmm.
Something, where I didn't really communicate with a lot of people because a lot of people weren't on that same journey. And I know being around them, hey, oh yeah, Friday night, oh happy hour, oh go grab a pizza, oh UFC fights tonight, bud. You want some nachos? Like I've been good all week. The body doesn't know the difference between a
Cheat day,
Sunday and a
right?
Tuesday, cheat day, all those stuff.
Oh.
And it's crazy. I mean, you can have a cheat meal, but don't have a cheat day. Don't have a whole day of you eating poorly.
Hmm.
But that is the yo-yoing that I did for a year, almost 3 years actually. Monday to Friday, you're good. Saturday and Sunday, self-sabotage. Repeat the cycle. Diet starts Monday. Starts again. Starts again. You step on the scale. I've been so good. I'm in the weight, same damn weight 3 months later. What the hell? Well, I get into the math, Rory, with my clients. Okay, you got to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit to burn 1 pound of fat off of your body. Now, it's really about the mindset too. So going back to how does that start? Well, if someone's 50 pounds overweight and they tell me I can't do this, I said, you can't do this? You got 50 pounds of stored energy on you, baby. Because that's all fat is. It's stored energy, baby. Look at all that energy you got. Of course you can run this 10 miler. Look at that. You got it. It's inside of you. Right. So that's how I like to look at things first and reframe their limiting beliefs in their mental state first about how much they weigh, or if they can't do something before we get into like the technical of what to eat and being in a caloric deficit and how many steps to eat on a daily basis. Because those stuff are really easy. Mechanisms to follow are really, really easy. And then after they'll get a checklist. So to answer your question, every day they'll have a checklist of things to do, and they'll have, in addition to that checklist, action steps to do, which are a lot more mental exercises than like the physical checklist. And then once a week we're going to go over what they did, what they struggled with, where were their temptations. Oh, hey, I was going to binge eat this. Okay, what happened? what set off that trigger in your mind where you're like, hey, I'm gonna go off my diet, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. And we find the root cause of that. And then we try to cut it away, or we try to eliminate it, or we find a solution for it. So
Okay. Interesting.
yeah.
Sounds like it's a lot of journaling in terms of, keeping track of and what
Yes.
did I eat, but then how did I feel? Also,
Yeah.
like you mentioned. So, okay. So
It's a lot of
there's that
conscious
component.
thinking. It's a lot of conscious thinking, or review, reflection on
Hmm.
what they're actually doing. Because sometimes we get into our limbic mind where we're on autopilot, where we don't even consciously think, hey, what did I eat? Why did I eat it? What the hell caused me to eat that? What was I thinking in that moment?
Right.
You know, and then when people consciously think, they say, oh, I don't actually need that. Why did I do that? How many times do your listeners, they do something stupid and you go, what the hell? Why did I do that? What the hell was I thinking? You weren't thinking. Hello,
Right.
your limbic mind was on. You're on autopilot. You're just, just like a software of a computer. You're just doing what it was programmed to do.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the work that you do is mostly online.
Yeah, mostly online. I'm based in Vancouver, Canada, but if I have clients anywhere in the US, most of my clients are in the US. If I'm traveling, visiting a friend, I always love to crush a workout with them, do a Psycho Saturday with them. Psycho Saturday is a thing I started a couple years ago. Wake up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday, run 5, 10, 15 miles to a gym, and then do a workout at that gym after the run. Yeah, so
Nice. All right. Sounds like
yeah.
I'd be going to the hospital, probably.
Hey, I always tell a guy, I've had big group of guys go, I always say, everyone go at your own pace, but here's the end destination. I put it in a group chat. I said, here's the pin where we're ending the run. So if it takes you an hour to get there, it takes you three, we'll be there.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah. No, I can appreciate that. That's, Rory stepping out of the Uber, when he gets over there. But I
The
got
first
you, man.
Psycho Saturday I ever did, two of my friends threw up. So,
Nice.
yeah, that's
Nice.
fun.
All
Yeah.
right. Now you're
Right.
getting old school. If you're not throwing
Yeah.
up, you're not working hard enough.
Oh,
I
I
love that.
agree.
That's perfect. That's great. Okay. This is so the company then, the Valiant Wellness. The
Yeah.
that is it you coaching? Do you have other people working with you?
No, just me.
Okay.
Just me. I've been kind
Excellent.
of a stickler. I just kind of love coaching and I kind of want to do it. Sometimes people have offered, hey, I'll coach. And I've had some clients I've worked with that I've had some crazy transformations, 80, 90 pounds down, but more importantly, really elevated kind of how they live.
Mhm.
And then I've been considering if I want to kind of have some other coaches underneath me, but for now, it's just me.
Excellent. Okay. So
Yeah.
what you see is what you get. It's Luca, right?
Yeah,
This is the thing.
absolutely. The real thing, unfiltered.
Love that, man. And I think that that helps people too. They know if they're reaching out to you, what they're getting. Now, one of the
Absolutely.
things that we talked about is that you are offering a one-on-one strategy session with folks. So tell
Yeah.
them what is that about? What's going to be expected of them if they decide to take you up on this and they want to find out about a strategy session with you?
Absolutely. So we'll meet about 30 minutes. And honestly, we're just got a real no bullshit conversation to help you out. I don't care or hate me. I want to see you actually get better and help you. So we're just real no bullshit conversation of where you are in your life when it comes to your health, your sleep, communication, the confidence, the mindset that you attack every single day with, and what has been holding you back and where you want to go, and to see if I can actually help you get there. Really, if do you want to make a change? What do I expect from them? Just show up with an open mind, having a real darn conversation. I'm not here to sell you anything. Yes, obviously I have a fee. I put a lot of work into what I do, but only if you feel like it's right and I feel like it's right, and we can actually help each other. And it starts with those people serious about making a change. Book a call if you actually want to make a change. Because I'm not one of those guys like, oh yeah, take your money, whatever happens to you happens to you. No, no. I'm going to make sure that you actually reach your goals. I'm going to hold you accountable and I'm going to support you. But yeah, just show up with honesty and show up with a willingness to change.
Excellent. Is the program for a set length?
Yeah, I usually work with clients for 3 months.
Okay.
So 3 months is 90 days. Now you can extend it sometimes. I have worked with clients for as much as, and that's a really great question, 6 months. But after 6 months, I don't want to work with you anymore. And why? Be my friend, be my colleague. Some of my best friends are my former clients. be my friend, be my colleague, let's try, let's work out together. But you should have became that man that you don't need coaching anymore,
Hmm.
right? We got to take the training wheels off the bicycle eventually, right? And I don't want you to be dependent on me on how to make the right nutrition choices or when to go to bed or your sleep preparation. I want you to become the person that can do that effortlessly. And that's at the end of the day, to sum it up to your audience, that is what getting in shape is. It's the becoming process, becoming the guy that has the six pack, becoming the guy that looks good in a dress shirt, becoming the guy that can dominate any room he goes into. You got to think like him, act like him, behave like him, have the habits of him, then you will become him. And a lot of people want to do the becoming, the how, the how, the how. It doesn't matter how, it matters who, what, and why. Who's the person you must become? Why are you doing this? What is the reason you're even here? Right. And that's really, really important. So that's why I don't like to work with people more than 6 months. You should be good after that. I don't want to coach you. I want to empower you so you can do this on your own. And that's what makes the results stick, right? You don't want to be
Yeah.
the yo-yo. I lose 20 pounds, I gain 20 pounds, that kind of guy.
It's also one of the things that makes you different. I don't think I've ever heard a coach say that before, that their goal is for you to not have to work with them again.
Of course, I don't want your money. I don't want to work
That's
with you because I
awesome, man.
failed you. Because I failed you. Think about you putting yourself, oh, I'm going to teach my son how to swim. So I got him the floaties and I got him the kicking board and he's the shallow end pool. Eventually, you want your son to be able to swim in the ocean on his own. Or you're
100%.
a bad coach. I think any great coach, any great mentor should elevate his clients or his students to the point where they no longer need him. Because true, success is, are my students or clients independent of me, right? Whatever it is, whether it's a teacher in elementary school, whether it's a coach, that's where you want to get them to.
I love that, man. I love your attitude. I love the mission, and I love that, your faith plays a role in it too, man. So, I mean,
Thank you.
it's been very educational for me. And I know that my wife is going to listen to this, before it goes out, like she always does, and just be staring at me
Yeah.
the whole time, like, see, told you, see, I appreciate you giving her all that ammo to just
Yeah.
tear me apart with. But no, man, you're speaking truth. I can tell, and
Yeah.
I love where your heart is, brother.
Thank
Um,
you so much.
so all right, so a one-on-one strategy session. That's a link, and that link is going to be in the show notes. Okay, for
Yep.
sure, for folks. Before we, I've got at least one more question for you here, but before we do that, how do they reach you? Is it just through the link in the show notes? Is there another way? Website,
Yeah.
socials? What works for you?
So absolutely. Socials, you can just follow me at my name. So it's Lukapetkovic, Luka Petkovic, just like one word on Instagram. Um, that's probably the easiest way to reach me. Instagram is probably the best one. Calendly link. You can't really DM on YouTube, so I would say that. And then maybe TikTok is Luka Valiant on TikTok. I'll be honest, I don't really check my TikTok messages, more Instagram on a daily
Gotcha.
basis. So if you got to reach out to me on the socials, that's just Luka Petkovic. Um, but yeah, and the Calendly link, book a call, go to my email, I get your number, I'll shoot you a text. It's really me. It's not an automated robot. If I text you, hey, this is Luka from Valiant Wellness. You booked a meeting with me? All right, show up somewhere quiet. That's me. I wrote the text. I saw you there. So
Nice, man. Nice. I love
yeah,
it. All right,
yeah,
let me just kind of let you wrap things up then, because you've delivered a ton of information, man, and like I said,
yeah.
I appreciate it very much. I'm sure it's helpful to the guys who are listening, and but let me just say, is there anything I didn't ask you? Is there anything that we talked about and you want to double down on, and drive home, or maybe just a nugget, something you want to leave behind for the guys who are listening to you? I'll give you the floor for the
100%.
last minute, brother.
I appreciate that. I think the biggest thing I would leave to everybody is that listening to this podcast is great, reading books is great, attending seminars is great, but whether it's me or David Goggins, we'll all tell you the same thing. You have to actually do the work. Listening to information about dieting and exercising is not dieting or exercising. So if I could leave you with one, take radical action. You don't have to be a bodybuilder tomorrow. Do 20 push-ups. The next day, do 25. The day after, do 45. But gradually get better and take action every single day, and you will be so grateful that you did. And that's how true change happens. Piece by piece, little by little. Do not have the self-help book syndrome. You didn't do anything because you read a self-help book. Take the information from the book and take radical action. That's what changed my life, and it'll change yours.
Awesome. Great way to wrap up. Absolutely fantastic final message, man. So, all right, folks. Founder of Valiant Wellness and men's health coach, Luka Petkovic. Luka, thank you, man, for coming on and
Thank you
just
so
sharing
much.
everything you did. It was absolutely great having you here, man.
Thank you, Rory.
Folks, that's been another powerful episode of the Power Man podcast. And the reason that we bring such powerful men on here with these powerful messages is because we are united in you finding your power, becoming a better provider, a better protector, a better leader tomorrow than you are today, becoming a better father, a better husband, a better man tomorrow than you are today. And the reason that we want that for you is because you matter, you have value, and you're worth it. And at some point, you just have to believe it. Until next time.